Girivaradhari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari. Yasodanandana Vrajajanaranjana. Yasodanandana Vrajajanaranjana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishupad Paramahamsa Parivraja Kacharya Ashtotara Sata Sri Srimati Svangres et Sri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishupad Paramahamsa Parivraja Kacharya Ashtotara Sata Sri Srimati Svangres Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sikho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Mayapur Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Srimati Tulasi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Sri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan Ki Jai, Sri Sri Gaunitai Ki Jai, Sri Sri Jagannath Subhadra Baladev Ki Jai, Gaura Premanandi, all Gari Sudha Samadivatis, all Gari Sudha Samadivatis, all Gari Sudha Samadivatis, all glories to Sri Guru, Sri Gauranga. All glories to Sri Prabhupada. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pastai Bhutale. Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi. Gauravani Prachadine. Nirvishesha Sunnavadi Pastyata Lilatarine. ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। हरे कृष्ण।
भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Skanda, 21st chapter, sloka number 39. Yat sevaya asesha guha asayaha sarat viprapriyaya tushyati kamam iswaraha tat eva tad dharma parahi. Vinitahi sarva atmana brahmakulam nishevyatam yat sevaya sesha guhasayaswarat vipra priyastushyati kamamiswaraha tadeva taddharma parairvinitahi sarvatmana brahmakulam nishevyatam yat sevaya sesha guhasayaswarat vipra priyastushyati kamamiswaraha tadeva taddharma parairvihitaha vinitahi tadeva taddharma parairvinitahi sarvatmana brahmakulam nishevyatam yat sevaya sesha guhasayaswarat vipra priyastushyati kamamiswaraha tadeva taddharma parairvinitahi sarvatmana brahmakulam nishevyatam. Sri Sri Gaurnitai ki jai, Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan ki jai, Sri Sri Jagannath Subhadra Baladev ki jai. Vaishnavis. Yet, whose sevaya, by serving, asesha, unlimited, guha asayaha, dwelling within the heart of everyone, swarat, but still fully independent, viprapriyaha, very dear to the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, Tushyati, becomes satisfied, kamam, of desires, Ishvaraha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that, eva, certainly, tat dharma parahi, by following in the footsteps of the Lord, vinitahi, by humbleness, sarva atmana, in all respects, brahmakulam, the descendants of Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, nishevyatam, always being engaged in their service. Translation: the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is everlastingly independent and who exists in everyone's heart, is very pleased with those who follow in his footsteps and engage without reservation in the service of the descendants of Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. For he is always dear to Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, and they are always dear to him. Please repeat. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is everlastingly independent and who exists in everyone's heart, is very pleased with those who follow in his footsteps and engage without reservation in the service of the descendants of Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. For he is always dear to Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, and they are always dear to him. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. It is said that the Lord is most pleased when he sees one engaged in the service of his devotee. He does not need any service from anyone because he is complete, but it is in our own interest to offer all kinds of services to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. These services can be offered to the Supreme Person not directly, but through the service of Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. Srila Narottam Das Thakur sings, Chadiya Vaishnava Seva Nistara Paya Chekeba, which means that unless one serves the Vaishnavas and Brahmanas, one cannot get liberation from the material clutches. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also says, Yasyat prasadat bhagavat prasadaha. By satisfying the senses of the spiritual master, one can satisfy the senses of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, this behavior is not only mentioned in scriptures, but also followed by acharyas. Prithu Maharaj advised his citizens to follow the exemplary behavior of the Lord himself, and thus engage in the service of Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Jutapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Ladita Sri Visakamritanscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Prithu Maharaj is giving instructions to the citizens, and in that great assembly at the beginning of his rule over the earth planet, all the great rishis, brahmanas, Vaishnavas are also present, and including also inhabitants of higher planetary systems. They also had come for the occasion. Prithu Maharaj, being the Shakti-avesha of the Lord, he has all knowledge concerning the method of ruling the kingdom. He is a perfect devotee himself, and he is a perfect teacher. He is teaching through example and precept. So in this sloka, Prithu Maharaj is advising all the citizens to serve the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, just as Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu is also serving them. In the Krishna Leela, we can see that Lord Krishna was always highly respectful of the Brahmanas, the genuine Brahmanas, who sometimes came to Dwarka to visit the Lord. For instance, Rukmini Devi had sent a Brahmana to carry her message to Lord Krishna. Please come quickly, because now I'm going to get married. So better if you come now, and you can take me out of all the other kings. So Lord Krishna was very respectful to the Brahmana who had come, and he immediately agreed, considering that this letter carried by a Brahmana is certainly very important. Lord Krishna gave full respect and honor to Sudama Vipra, although Sudama Vipra, from the external viewpoint, he could not be compared to the opulence of Lord Krishna in Dwarka. He was living in a very small hut. He had no money. He was not endeavoring for improving his lifestyle. He was wearing the ordinary torn clothes. And he was quite satisfied in this way of life. But his wife considered that Lord Krishna is your friend from your young age. You were together, and now Lord Krishna is living in the great surroundings in Dwarka. He is very merciful to his devotees, and certainly when you go and see him, he will do something for you. So the Brahmana was not interested to go to see Krishna just for the purpose of satisfying some material desire, to gain some opulence. That was not his concern. So anyway, he accepted the request of his wife, and he asked from his wife, do you have something to give to Lord Krishna? So there was nothing in the house. So she went to the neighbor's house and brought some this flat rice and put it in a cloth. In this way, the Brahmana Sudama went to Dwarka, carrying this small bag on his shoulder. And he was astonished to see the splendor of Dwarka. It was not easy to enter into the inner city. There were military camps, 3 military camps, one after another. He had to go inside, but he was welcome. Nobody was thinking that he is a danger. He was a guest, a Brahmana guest, and the military soldiers, they let him enter into Dwarka city. And in this way, Sudama Vipra came inside one of the palaces. There were 16,108 palaces, each one occupied by one wife, princess of Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna was exhibiting his opulence in this way, living separately with each and every wife. So he entered into the palace of Rukmini Devi and Lord Krishna. Immediately as Lord Krishna saw Sudama Vipra from a distance, he immediately raised himself and went to welcome this particular Brahmana and embrace him very tightly with great love and devotion. Actually, Lord Krishna was not embracing anybody except Lord Balaram and his wife Rukmini Devi in this palace. Nobody else. But this Brahmana, although he was not appearing very clean with dirty clothes, but Lord Krishna did not hesitate to show him the greatest respect and love. So that was the welcome of Lord Krishna for this Sudama Vipra. And he invited him inside. He asked him, please sit down on my bed. And he started to give him all water and nice foodstuffs. And he kept on his body, massaged his body with the sandalwood paste. And in this way, the Brahmana was so much welcome, including Aarti ceremony with the Panchadipa. And everybody in the palace was surprised that this Brahmana, of course, everybody knows Lord Krishna is respecting the Brahmanas, but to that extent, they could not understand. They thought he must have performed great pious activities in his past life, maybe. For some reason, he was welcomed in that manner. So that was the welcome that Lord Krishna gave to that Brahmana. It was very exemplary. And Lord Krishna asked, after conversation, reminding each other about the time they had spent in the Gurukul of Sandipani Muni. That was very wonderful recollection between the two. And then at the end, Lord Krishna is asking that maybe you have brought something from your house. And this Brahmana was very shy. He thought that, how can I give this ordinary, flat rice? Oh, no, that is not possible. So he just kept quiet. But Lord Krishna took away that bag and he opened it and, oh, wonderful. Why you are hiding this, the wonderful offering you are giving? In that manner, Lord Krishna also satisfied his Brahmana. And Lord Krishna knew very well the purpose of that Brahmana's visit. For himself, that Brahmana had no material desire at all. He was fully satisfied. But Lord Krishna knew that his wife wanted that my husband should have some property and sufficient income in order to maintain that household So, in this way, without telling anything, that the Brahmana came back to his house, he could not recognize, what is this? Is it my house? And is she my wife? She looks like Lakshmi Devi. In this way, there was a complete transformation. So this is the favor that Lord Krishna gives to his Brahmana and Vaishnavas, complete protection. In the Bhagavad Gita also, Lord Krishna assures that he will give all facilities, yogakshemam vahamyaham, to those who are always devoted to him, so that the Vaishnavas don't have any anxiety about their maintenance. They know, they have full confidence that Lord Krishna will maintain them and will protect them. These are the symptoms or items of prabhati. To be completely convinced that Lord Krishna is my maintainer and protector. In this way, the Vaishnava is fully confident, and he is, in this way, surrendering everything to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is the exchange of love and devotion. The Lord is devoted to the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, and the Vaishnavas and the Brahmanas, also the pure Brahmanas, are also similarly devoted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is the intimate relationship. Now, here Prithu Maharaj is requesting the citizens that just as Lord Krishna is devoted to the Brahmanas, similarly, you should also be devoted to Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. In this way, the Supreme Lord will bestow upon you all benedictions. Whatever desire you may have, even if you have no desire, that is the best. No personal, no material desire. But by serving the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, that service will be very pleasing to the Supreme Lord. That is the secret of success in devotional service. Srila Prabhupada, from beginning of his instructions to his followers and disciples in America, he told them that devotional service to the Lord, Bhakti Yoga, is just like a railway track. Railway track is not single, it is twin. It is parallel twin, two tracks. So the train will run smoothly along these two tracks parallel to each other. So that is the example Prabhupada gave. On one side, devotion to Lord Krishna, being completely confident. Lord Krishna is the Supreme Lord. He is the Master of all. He is the indweller, monitor. Iswara sarva bhutanam hrideshe junatishtati. He is the he is completely controlling the entire creation and the maintenance, dissolution. In this way, this is the relationship between the living entity and the Supreme Lord. The living entity is the eternal part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in order to understand, in order to be situated in that position which was lost since time immemorial because of our attraction for material enjoyment in this material world, we have lost our relationship with the Supreme Lord. So in order to be re-established again in this situation and be completely happy, one has to approach the spiritual master and serve him, tad vidhi pranipatena, pariprasnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tatvarashinaha tad vijnanartam saguruneva bigachet. Srila Prabhupada emphasized this point, that this service is having these two aspects: service to the Supreme Lord and service to the pure devotee of the Lord. Actually, service to the pure devotee of the Lord comes first. In our spiritual journey, we had so many adventures, so many things happened in our lives. But we had failed to establish our relationship with the Lord in a practical manner. Even those who are God-conscious, raised in God-conscious families and so on. But they, most of the time, because of the influence of Maya, they are not able to overcome their material desires. And they lost the opportunity to be engaged in the service of the Lord purely. That pure devotional service can be had only by association with a pure devotee of the Lord, who becomes the spiritual master in that manner. So, Siksha Guru and Diksha Guru. First of all, Siksha Guru, just like Bilvamangal Thakur, he had Guru who is praised at the beginning of his poem, Hare Krishna Karnamrita. What is that? Chintamani. Chintamani was a very special type of Siksha Guru because she acted as, apparently she was a prostitute, and Bilvamangal at that time, he used to go to her house. In order to go to the house of Chintamani, it was very difficult. So one time it was heavy rain, and Bilvamangal Thakur at that time, he was not yet aware of devotional service. He was addicted to this sinful activity. He had to cross a river in order to go to that house, and that house he cannot go from the front side. He has to go from the back side, he has to climb the wall. There's a snake hanging. He is taking help of the snake. And finally he goes to that window, and he enters to the window. And Chintamani is telling him, "Oh, my dear friend, you have come. It is so difficult to come here." It is so difficult. Why you are taking so much trouble just to see me? That is not important. I'll tell you one thing. If you take that much trouble in order to go to Vrindavan, and there in Vrindavan you can meet the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna and become a devotee of Lord Krishna. So, in this way, Bilvamangal Lila Sukha, he took up this advice of Chintamani very seriously and understood what to do next. So he started on his way to Vrindavan. He reached Vrindavan, and then he had ecstasy and transcendental realization of Krishna consciousness, which was written in his book, Hare Krishna Karnamrita. So the beginning was this Siksha by Chintamani, in this way. That is the way of entering into devotional service to Lord Krishna. And that service should never be given up. That is the lesson we derive also from scriptures and from the acharyas. They never gave up the service of their guru. So service to Guru and service to Krishna go side by side. When the disciples serve the Guru or the Vaishnava or the pure Brahmana, Lord Krishna is very satisfied and bestows all his blessings. With all the blessings of Lord Krishna, the spiritual life cannot be successful, and that is made possible by service to the Vaishnava and the Guru. So Srila Prabhupada also taught his disciples, not only you should be devoted to your Guru, but you should be devoted to each other. That is something that Srila Prabhupada taught his disciples also. Service should be done to the Vaishnavas, and that includes the co-disciples. And Prabhupada taught them, you must call each other Prabhu. You call each other Prabhu so that you should understand that your co-brother, the co-disciple, is also meant to be served. This mission of Krishna consciousness should be done in conjointly by all the disciples. Not that separately everybody is trying his own service. No. Service to the mission should be done in cooperation with each other. That's a very important aspect of Srila Prabhupada's teachings, and that is how we can learn how to become Vaishnavas. The Vaishnava never considered himself to be Prabhu. Prabhupada told them, you call him Prabhu, and he will also call you Prabhu. But don't think you have become Prabhu. Don't think you are a Prabhu. Master, you can give orders, do this, do that, don't do this. No, you are not Prabhu. Everyone else is Prabhu. And you are meant to serve everyone in the mission of Krishna consciousness, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. That is the correct attitude. And that is the Vaishnava attitude as taught by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Never considering oneself to be very important or be a master ordering others. No. Even if you are temple commander, Prabhupada was teaching in Mayapur, the temple commander, don't think that you have become master. You are servant of everyone. Even if you give advice to somebody that is only in that mood of cooperation, not that you have become master. So this is a very essential attitude to be developed. And constantly we have to remind ourselves of our situation. We are very insignificant. How can we approach the Lord? And how can we approach even the spiritual master or render service in any manner? Sanatana Goswami, when he received instructions from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he told Lord Chaitanya, I am most insignificant. I am having this association. I had very bad association. I have no quality whatsoever. I have no knowledge. How can I understand devotional service? How to become Vaishnava? I cannot understand unless you give me your special blessings. So even after Lord Chaitanya taught Sanatana Goswami the entire system of devotional service, but Sanatana Goswami was requesting Lord Chaitanya, please give me your special blessings. Otherwise, I cannot do anything. I cannot write books. You are asking me to write books on Vaishnava etiquette. How can I remember whatever you have told me? I will forget. I will not be able to write. So in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu kept his 2 feet on Sanatana Goswami's head. And Sanatana Goswami in this way received the special mercy of Lord Chaitanya. So spiritual knowledge can be only developed in this attitude of complete surrender, humble service, and not by thinking that I have so much knowledge, I have read so many books. Even if you are reading books, that is very good. Even then, you have to approach the spiritual master, render service to the Vaishnavas. In this way, you will digest whatever you are reading, trying to understand. That will be digested through Vaishnava Seva, because you will get the blessings of the Guru and Krishna. Otherwise, even if you are trying to develop spiritual knowledge, but it will not be successful if we don't develop the right attitude of humble service to the Vaishnavas. So the opposite behavior of Vaishnava Seva is Vaishnava Ninda or Vaishnava Parada. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made it very clear that Vaishnava Parad is the foremost aparad, most grievous. It is like the mad elephant who is entering into a beautiful garden. You have nurtured a garden, putting plants and sabji flowers. Suddenly a mad elephant is coming, devastating the entire garden. Everything is finished. So that is the most grievous offense, and one should be very careful about avoiding Vaishnava Parad or Guru Aparad. That is the opposite of Vaishnava Seva. Some great personalities have done Vaishnava Parad. One example that I have in mind is, for instance, Indra Dev. Indra, the king of heaven. Once upon a time he was presiding over a meeting of other inhabitants of heaven. Everybody was there, and Indra was sitting on his seat, presiding over the meeting. Suddenly, Bhrigu Muni came, and Indra did not pay respect to Bhrigu. He did not offer his obeisances. He did not consider that this guest is so important, even though Bhrigu was the spiritual master of all the devas. So in this way, Indra lost all his powers. He lost his position because of that aparad. And he came down and he took birth as a pig. Can understand what a downfall, from the head of heaven to the pig on the earth planet, living in the drainage. That was the position of Indra for so many years. In this way, he had the punishment from committing Vaishnava Parad. And Lord Brahma was very much concerned. And he thought that now heaven has no director, Indra is not there. So Lord Brahma came personally, and he came to that pig, and he told the pig that, why you are staying here? You come back, I'll take you, you come. Go back to heaven and resume your duties, your position. And Indra told Lord Brahma, as a pig, completely in illusion. He told Brahma, why you have come here? You see, I have so many responsibilities here. My wife is there. So many children are there. I have to feed them. I have to attend to their welfare. So I cannot leave this place. I'm fully taken up by this responsibility. No, I cannot go to heaven. Please don't take me. I want to stay here looking after my family members. That was to the extent Lord Indra had been degraded by his Vaishnava Parada. So these two things, Vaishnava Seva, Vaishnava Parada, should be carefully understood if we want to achieve success in our spiritual life. There are so many other examples, but now time is over. Any other questions or comments?
Thank you very much, Prabhu. I only remember Prabhupada's comment only, I'm just mentioning. Prabhupada says once, if you are sincere, go, Krishna will help, everything belongs to him, he will provide. As he rightly said, if
you are sincere, Krishna will help you.
Everything belongs to him, he will provide.
Yeah, right.
So that
yes.
You said that we must take care of the
yes.
Brahmanas, Vaishnavas.
Yes.
So if we show our sincerity by serving that, I really
yes.
remember that one sentence. And as you said, the best humanitarian service is, Prabhupada says, the best humanitarian service is connecting the lost soul to the Supreme.
The best what?
The humanitarian service.
Humanitarian work.
Is connecting the lost soul to the Supreme.
The lost soul to the Supreme, yes. yes.
So that's what is the, you were mentioning something, so I remember.
Paropakar, that is the Supreme welfare work. Paropakar. In Australia, there was a meeting, Prabhupada in his room, and some minister of the government came. Prabhupada asked him, what are you doing? He said, I'm engaged in the welfare department. That official from the government is telling Prabhupada, I'm engaged, I'm a minister in the welfare department.
Welfare department.
Yeah. So Prabhupada is asking question, what do you mean by welfare? What is your idea of welfare department? Then that officer is telling, welfare means we are doing so many helping the poor, helping the children, helping those in distress, and so many different works are there. So Prabhupada, in this way, understood. Actually, he doesn't know what is welfare. Those who are not spiritually enlightened have no idea what is the meaning of welfare work. Welfare work means, as you say, as you reminded us, is to connect everyone with Krishna. Krishna should be the center of welfare work. That will be when Krishna is satisfied, everyone is satisfied. Yes. Just as you want to nurture a plant, you pour water on the root of the tree. That is the welfare for the plant and for all the leaves, flowers, branches, twigs, that everybody will be benefited by this watering the root. So in this way, the root is Krishna. If we can satisfy Krishna by serving Vaishnavas and Krishna, then by serving in this manner, all the entire society will be benefited. That is the supreme welfare work, Paropakara. Any other questions? Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for a very, very wonderful class. Please could you tell us maybe about one of your personal interactions with Srila Prabhupada?
Personal interaction with Srila Prabhupada. I was not in the high level of ISKCON management, so I didn't have much opportunity to interact directly with Srila Prabhupada, although I was also present when there was some meetings and conversations. I could, in this way, hear the conversations between disciples and Srila Prabhupada, and of course his lectures in Hyderabad and in Calcutta. So, no direct, in this way, maybe you are thinking direct interaction means I receive some direct instruction and so on. Not so much like that, but I was always thinking about Srila Prabhupada's instructions to others and his lectures and his books and so on. So interaction with Prabhupada can be done in different manners, and sometimes Prabhupada was also admonishing some of the disciples who are thinking that I'm very close to Prabhupada, and familiarity brings content. So one should not be very familiar to the spiritual master in the sense that one should not think that I'm doing seva to Prabhupada, I'm his servant, I'm his secretary, so I'm doing so much. He is depending upon me. Like one disciple, I don't want to mention his name, but everybody knows him. He was in India with Prabhupada, and he was rendering physical service to Prabhupada. Then he became somewhat proud. I'm doing so much service to my spiritual master. I've become more than him. He developed that idea. I've become more than him. And Prabhupada gave him some instruction he did not follow. And he went. So, in so many, if you, there are books published about Prabhupada memoirs, direct interaction between disciples and Prabhupada. And in this way we can understand the personality of Srila Prabhupada as absolutely not of this world. Just to give an example, yesterday we are celebrating Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada Disappearance Day. And Srila Prabhupada had instructed his disciples in various centers in America to write something about Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in glorification of the spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, on the occasion of his disappearance day. So at that time, Prabhupada was in Los Angeles, and he received many letters and written by his disciples from different centers. And Prabhupada chose a letter sent from Boston. Prabhupada told the audience that Prabhupada was going to give lecture to his disciples and followers in Los Angeles. Everybody was expecting Prabhupada would speak and glorify his spiritual master on that occasion. Sri Prabhupada, he started his lecture telling that I'm not qualified to say anything about my spiritual master. I cannot glorify him. I cannot praise him. And Prabhupada took his letters from disciples and he said, but my disciples are qualified. And I would like to read this letter sent from Boston. and Prabhupada started to read the letter written by disciples from Boston. He didn't speak personally, glorification of his spiritual master. You can just understand the humility of Srila Prabhupada. It is beyond, see what we are thinking generally. We think ourselves to be very humble and so on. What is the humility of a Vaishnava? That we understand from the example of Srila Prabhupada. One disciple asked Prabhupada, can you speak something about your spiritual master? Prabhupada told him, I cannot. He was a Vaikuntha man. Vaikuntham, what can I say about him? So in this way, all the qualities of a pure Vaishnavas are to be found in Srila Prabhupada and the bona fide Vaishnava spiritual masters. And every day we can just remember these qualities so that gradually we can also make some progress in our spiritual life. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, thank you very much for that. So today's class was about being engaged in the service of the Vaishnavas, and you have been serving for more than 50 years. So I want to understand, we see devotees coming, some people come for 2 times, 3 times, 10 times, 1 year, 2 years, or 10 years even, and something happens and then they leave. So I want to understand from you, what is it that has inspired you to stay in the service of Srila Prabhupada for more than 50 years personally?
I was very fortunate in many ways. Of course, to meet Prabhupada disciples, first of all, when I was traveling in India, they took me, Hare Krishna Goswami took me to Calcutta immediately. He gave me engagement. He didn't tell me, you come on Sundays and maybe after 1 month, then you can join ISKCON like that full time. On the very same day, he asked me to stay in the temple in Calcutta, and at that time Guru Kripa, Yasodanda were there. They took away all my karmic clothes and they gave me the dhoti, kurta, kantimala, shaved the head, and japamala. From the very first day, I didn't have any time to think over it so much. And the next day morning, I was sent for life membership collection. So carrying the briefcase with Madhavananda and Purnapragya Prabhus. So immediately I was in this way engaged in the service. And so I was very fortunate in this manner. Then I had opportunity to remain in this association and in this way rendering service and following the regulative principles. And why should we leave? Of course, many disciples and others, they left the association of ISKCON disciples, ISKCON society. It is very unfortunate. And even especially after Prabhupada left this planet, and many of them left also, went to some other, I don't know what they have done afterwards. His Holiness Bhakti Swami was given charge to try to find out where are those disciples, where did they go, why did they leave, and how to bring them back to ISKCON. That was a special mission given to Bhakti Swami by the GBCs. Some of them came back, but many of them did not come back. Why? See, Maya. One has to always be careful. Prabhupada used to say that my disciples are not very careful about how strong is Maya. Once Prabhupada was looking at the deities for a long time, and I forgot who, one disciple asked Prabhupada that, Prabhupada, you are looking at the deity so intently. Any special prayer? You ask any special prayer from the Lord? And Prabhupada told, yes, I asked the Lord to save me from Maya. So Prabhupada considered that his disciples were not so aware, not so careful about the influence of Maya, considering everything is okay, no problem. So we should be very careful of the influence of Maya. In this way, we can remain in the service of the Vaishnavas by our good fortune. It is only by good fortune. We should not think we are doing something great. We should never become proud. So all these are very important, that never considering oneself to be great and always taking blessings from other Vaishnavas and keeping in service in this way very faithfully. What else do we have in this life to do? If we leave ISKCON, what shall we do next? Coming back to Maya's kingdom. We have been here in this world for billions and billions of years. And this human form of life comes after billions of years. This is a unique opportunity to achieve perfection of existence. Spiritual life can be developed only as human beings. So if we give up this opportunity, thinking that I'm great, afterwards I can manage myself, then this is the most unfortunate thing that we can do. We should never think like this, because we have no independence to do what we want. Any moment we are taken away by the force of time and Maya. If we can remain faithful to the instructions of the spiritual master, in this way we can achieve success. Otherwise, again coming down and wasting again millions and billions of years. So that consideration should be always there. So in this way, and we should always, in this way, keep contact and be faithful to the mission of Srila Prabhupada and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Any other questions? Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.